Outboard motorbike, welcome back. As you may remember, we last left the frame without that piece in there. So we've got these two bits of 1¼ by 1.6 tubing from the plate up to the front of the frame. And that's a bit of 45mm 1¾ tube squashed 20x32 wide, which makes a nice simple way of doing a gusset to hold them parallel. And that's all just sitting there at the moment, attached to the front frame. I just thought I'd show it to you before I go and wrap it up with gussets and make it properly attached. As you can see, I've welded in some sheet metal gussets to attach the old bit of frame to the new bit of frame, make it nice and stiff and strong. Which means we've got 3 places now that the rear plate is attached to the front of the frame, which means we can cut one of them off and go back to 2 places. Cut this off down here and replace all this gubbins with a nice bit of round tube, gas bent, to join it back together again neatly. That's our left-hand frame tube chopped off the frame, and we're going to replace it with a bit of 1⅛" round steel drawn over mandrel tubing, which I've just put a appropriate bend in with an oxy torch. So that bit of pipe's full of sand and has got a paper plug in either end. If you want to see a bit more about that, have a look back at some of the Dart videos, and we'll cut and weld that into the left hand side of the frame as a next step. Accompanied by the pitter patter of rainfall on the roof, you can now see my sand bent lower frame tube welded into the chassis. And if you look closely, which I'm going to force you to do, there's a little boss welded in there which attaches to the thermostat housing bolt, which means we've got the frame attached at the back and the front of the engine for enhanced stiffness and strength as usual. So the bit up there should be well attached to the bit down there and the bit back there, not too wobbly so it doesn't kill me. The front half of the frame's largely welded up now. I just thought I'd share this little detail with you. Where the square tube goes into the round, got this fairly nasty joint to make there. So to make it nicer and easier and better, you can see I just got the oxy torch out and heated that bit up red hot, and a little tiny hammer knocked it down to make it sort of round, so that'll make a nice weld. That'll work out alright. And where that bush is welded into the inside of into a notch in the inside of the tube, it's going to make the tube want to bend that way as the weld cools. So to compensate for that, I've run the oxy torch across the back of it after it's all finished to make it try and bend that way, and hopefully it'll end up pretty neutral and still fit the engine. Time will tell. Just finishing off here for the night. That's the way that square round transition worked out. And on the inside of the frame, I guess that used to be an engine mount or something, I've put that little bit of square in there to spread the strength of the joint over a longer distance than just having a butt weld across there. There are a few mounts on the front of the frame, those things, and these things up here. Don't know what they're for. A couple out here as well. But I'll leave them all on because I've got a few things to bolt to it, like a radiator, and try and use them if we can. And just in case you think I'll get everything right, I messed up with the position of that bush and had to put a little band-aid in there, which you can see on this side, but didn't work out too bad. That's pretty much the front out of the frame done for now. And to close off today's video, for my own entertainment as much as anybody else's, that's the 2 halves of the frame sandwiching the sandwich plate. So the front half's extended 300mm to take the engine, and the Back half's got room there for the gearbox. And not all the bolts are in the sandwich plate, but they would all go in. And here we go. Stay tuned.